We welcome you into the 5th edition of the Ken Sparks Show. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks, as Carson-Newman picks up a 43-27 road victory over the Mars Hill Lions. Eagles spoil Mars Hill's homecoming, and Ken, probably the bigger thing, you rebound from a loss to Catawba last week. What did it take internally for your ball club to come back and pick up a victory?
Well, I think we had some ugly leftover from the Catawba game because we know that we didn't play well, and so it was it shook our confidence. It shook our faith in the system, maybe even confidence in the coaches, confidence in each other, and so we had to, anytime you have a defeat, then you have an opportunity to grow. You have an opportunity to be honest with each other and take a step forward. And I thought our guys responded very well. We did some things differently in practice this week. Went back to a whole lot more conditioning, and because we really got tired against Catawba, and we got tired. It was hot this week, and we're so beat up. We ended the game with 6 defensive linemen and for 4 positions. And, it was, I say the heat index was over 90 probably Saturday. Yeah. And so to see those 6 guys just keep reaching down in there, and a couple of them were hurt, and they just kept going. And about the time we wanted offense to have a long drive, we'd score in 3 plays, or when we wanted to keep the defense off the field, we'd be 3 and out. Or 4 or 5 and out, and that's what we did a couple of times. But we, had an opportunity to grow. Everything in our life gives us an opportunity to grow. Any adversary thing that happens, which there's going to be those things that happen. It doesn't say if those things are going to happen. It's when those things happen, and I thought our guys responded very well from it.
Well, each of the last 2 years, when you've lost one, you've lost 2 in a row, and this is the first time. If you exclude the loss to Valdosta State in the playoffs last year, that you haven't dropped 2 straight when you have lost 1. Why is that?
Well, I hope maturity. I hope some growth. I hope it's got something to do with leadership, which I feel like that we've got some guys that are really trying to lead and doing it very well, and we still got work to do, and we still got a long way to go, and we'll have a great test this week.
We break down the first half as Carson-Newman leads at the break by 13 over Mars Hill when we get back after this on the Ken Sparks Show. Back on the Ken Sparks Show as Carson-Newman leads Mars Hill at the break 23-10. Ken, the turning point in that first half, a second quarter where with 8 minutes left you score 16 unanswered against the Lions. What happened from a back and forth first 20 minutes of the game to that final little bit of the second quarter where it seemed you turned things on a bit, both offensively and defensively?
Well, we got them off the field offensively. Our defense held and got the ball back to us, and we were able to generate some offense. We started executing and blocking a little bit better and executing a little bit better. We played a ball game without a tight end. Yeah. And so we had to improvise there. We had a tackle playing tight end, and so it didn't take them long to figure out that number 66 wasn't going to be a pass receiver. And so we had to, and as Alex Taylor did a great job for 2 or 3 days of work to get ready to play tight end for us in some down and distance situations. And I thought Coach Turner had a great scheme. I thought our kids, but the main thing is we started executing. The quarterback executed better. He struggled with the fact is it'll probably be his lowest grade of the year, and we've got but we went through a streak there that was pretty good, and we put in a little series, where we emptied the backfield and they weren't ready for that, and we had some big plays off of that and moved the ball down the field. It was good.
Well, I thought the underworld was cooling a little bit when I saw an empty backfield there for Carson-Newman. football.
We still had center. We still had a quarterback under center, though. we still could run the option.
But I didn't even know how to a reverse jet sweep would be the term that comes to mind.
That's probably a good way to put it. Yeah.
What's the key to that formation, that set?
Well, we've always had the toss, the quick toss outside. We've always had in the offense, and we just revived it this time. But we did it out of empty set because we knew that the way they wanted to align, that it would create some problems for their alignment. And we ran the quick toss a couple of times, and then we came back with a quick toss reverse trap out of it. And so it was a good little rotation, and we got some other stuff that we can do off of it too. So we only got to the first two phases of it.
Somebody with 34 years of coaching experience is bound to have a few tricks left in the bag.
Well,
you can say no comment.
A lot of them don't work. So I got plenty of tricks. Some of them just don't work. So
we'll take a look at a few of those tricks from Carson-Newman's first half. Here are the first half highlights.
And now Yurko to kick off. Sends this one to Marcellus Pope on the goal line on the right hash. Pope straight up the field, straight ahead, full steam to the 20 and 25. Pope makes a man miss at the 40, still on his feet at midfield, into Mars Hill territory, along the numbers right side at the 45, where he is at long last brought down by Knowles and Sammy Siasia. But still, 56 yards on the return for Marcellus Pope. Davis takes the snap, runs left, now back to the right at the line of scrimmage. He's stripped by Greg Beauty. Beauty picks it up at the 30. Beauty sprinting down the left hash. He's brought down at the 20 by Trent Miller from behind. The Eagles nearly had a scoop and score as Greg Beauty stripped Shaq Davis clean. I formation, hands off to the I back. Davis tries the left side, but Anthony Baskin from his safety spot shoots into the backfield and arguably makes a touchdown-saving tackle at the 16. Had a load of room out to the left beyond Baskin. Got him by his shoe tops. Pope and Freeman the tailbacks. Thomas takes the snap. He'll keep it over the right side. Dives for the end zone. Got it. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. DeAndre Thomas on the sprint around the right tackle. And the Eagles are back on top, 16-13. With 7:59 left in the second quarter. Thomas with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Ashley will come on to punt for Mars Hill after the Lions' second 3 and out. Ashley drops it, now fumbles it. East Brown knocks it free. Ball batted around, still at the 1. It's picked up by Jason Williams, and he's able to sneak into the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. The snap was low. Ashley fumbled it. Never even had a chance to get it off. Ball was batted around at the goal line. Sneaked out of Ashley's grasp. Williams was there standing at the 1, his back to the end zone, turned left, stepped backward, and into the paint for the touchdown for Carson-Newman. 22-13 Eagles with 6:18 left in the second quarter. 2nd and 8 for Mars Hill from their own 28-yard line. Miller back to pass, leaping into the air. Javaris Neal, he intercepts it. The younger Neal brother, with his first career pick, holds the ball high into the air as he races to the far sideline. Neal picked it off at the 25, fell forward down to the 22 before he was brought down by the QB Miller. Oh boy! Javaris Neal with the INT. A first down, 15 to go for the Eagles. Thomas takes the snap. It's a jet sweep reverse to Ward over the left side. Ward makes a man miss at the 40 and 45, sprints across midfield into Mars Hill territory, down to the 44, where Tate slams him home. A 22-yard pickup for Trayshawn Ward, down to the Mars Hill 44. From the left hash, Nance to snap, Hibbett to hold, to give Carson-Newman a 16 or 13-point lead headed into the locker room. Duncan puts the kick up and splits it dead through the middle. A 37-yarder for Kurt Duncan. He hits his 7th field goal of the season to give Carson-Newman a 26-13 lead over Mars Hill with 16.8 seconds left here in the first half.
Those are the first half highlights as Carson-Newman leads Mars Hill at the break. As we often do, we take a look at social media and invite you to ask questions here on the Ken Sparks Show, and we have a couple. Ken, Hugo wants to know, how do you instill a sense of internal toughness in your team, especially after a loss?
Well, Hugo needs to tell me. But we sure worked at it. We gotta have the ability to overcome, and that means it's a matter of choice. You have to choose to overcome, because in life you're gonna have some things to overcome, and so we talk all the time. That you have got to. You got to have. Every time in Scripture where God asked somebody to do something pretty big, or not every time, but several times, like Joshua when he was going to go into the Promised Land, he said, "You got to be strong and courageous." Mm-hmm. Strong and courageous. I love those words. And in life, we better have some men that can be strong and courageous. And strength comes from inside. It's not how much you can bench and how strong you are on the outside. It comes from the heart. And if you got strength of character, strength of spirit, strength of your heart strength, heart power, then you got a chance to get something done, with your life, regardless of what happens. And I think that's critical.
When we return on the Ken Sparks Show, we'll break down the second half as Carson-Newman spoils Mars Hill's homecoming with a 43-27 victory. That's after this. Back on the Ken Sparks Show, I'm Adam Cavalier alongside the head coach of Carson-Newman's Eagles, Ken Sparks. As the Eagles pick up a 43-27 road victory over the Mars Hill Lions. Ken, one of the big things from that game, yes, you give up some passing yards, but you also hold the number 7 tailback in the nation in terms of yards per game, Shaq Davis, 150 coming in. You limit him to 59 yards. What was the key in slowing down their rushing attack?
Well, I think getting off of blocks, the things that we've been talking about, and he's a hard guy to tackle, and we did a pretty good job tackling in the first half. We did in the second half, but we did a pretty good job of slowing him down, and then of course when they got behind and they didn't want to run it too much, they wanted to throw it, and they had some success throwing it. So when you start off a ball game and you have more success throwing than you do running, and that's what you do, and so. But I was really proud of our guys. He's like a hiccup. He's just all over the place, and so our guys did a pretty good job of winning the line of scrimmage, I think, most of the time.
How impressive is that, considering you only had, as you said, 6 linemen at your disposal?
It was really, I'm telling you, after the ball game, first thing we did, we applauded and praised those 6 defensive linemen that did an unbelievable job. And we started off with 8, and then we ended up with 6 because one got sick before early in the ball game, and the other one got a concussion. And so it was an unbelievable gut thing, and we already had a couple people hurt, right. And so we really proud of Javaris. Did a great job of going hard when it wasn't easy to go hard.
And he wreaked havoc too. Was consistently in the backfield, and a pure defensive lineman interception in the third quarter.
That wasn't bad, was it?
No.
It looked pretty athletic. I told him he reminded me of you.
Oh.
Because of the way he got up there and picked that one. So
that seems like an insult more than a compliment.
But we were glad we were proud of those guys, and like I say, it was very, very hot, and they responded. They responded.
How big was it late in the game that on your real true final drive, you're feeding the football to Marcellus Pope, Randall Freeman, as opposed to Andy Hibbett and Brandon Baker, who, you're right, had been going in 90-degree heat for most of the day?
Well, those 2 guys have proven themselves, and they've worked real hard in practice. They are guys that we have confidence in. They still make some inexperienced mistakes, but but you don't have to worry about their effort. You don't have to worry about them giving it all they got, and so proud of them.
We take a look at those second half highlights as the Eagles pull away from Mars Hill and pick up a 43-27 road victory.
Gordon Lamar is the tailback. Miller back to pass, and he gets eaten alive. Jacob Coleman and Michael Serge Bali meet him back at the 45 and yank him down for a 6-yard loss. Miller a bit too long.
What an athletic play by Coleman. Perfect timing, reading the blitz, and then leapfrogged over Gordon Lamar, stepped on the ground, and then just pummeled Miller. What an athletic play by the linebacker.
Davis the tailback to Miller's right. Miller back to pass. Fires over the middle of the field, complete in the end zone. Touchdown, Mars Hill. Dimitri Holmes grabbed it at the goal line. 1st and 10 Eagles from the 24, their own 24 on the right hash. Thomas takes the snap, fakes a pitch on a jet sweep left side. Instead, hands off to Trayshawn Ward out of the backfield. Ward, a lot of running room in the boundary right side, 30 and 40, across the 40 up to the 42 where he is stumbled up by Pitter. Gives off right side. Baker, or check that, Hibbett. Hibbett through a hole at the 45. Hibbett in a foot race, 20 and 10. Hibbett to the near pylon. He's there. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Hibbett outraced Sanders on his way to the goal line. Looking for the first down. Eagles get the touchdown and go ahead 32-20 with 3:51 left in the third quarter. Hibbett from 48 yards away, a career-long run for him. For the Eagles from the middle of the field, Thomas under center, split backfield. Thomas takes the snap, runs right, evades 2 men at the 35 and 40. Thomas rolling along the numbers far side, breaks midfield, across the 40 of Mars Hill, inside the 40 to the 38-yard line in the boundary before he's brought down by Siasia. DeAndre Thomas wheeling and dealing with his legs. A 35-yard pickup. Thomas takes the snap, pitches right. Pope has a seam. Pope scampers to the 10 and 5. Pope leaps to the end zone. Did he get there? Yes! Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Marcellus Pope raced past Robert Green and cinches off a 20-yard run to give Carson-Newman a 42-20 lead with 2:09 left in the fourth quarter.
Those are the second half highlights as Carson-Newman defeats Mars Hill on the road 43-27. The Eagles improve to 4-1 and 2-1 in the SAC. When we come back, Michael Wottreng puts the Eagles spotlight on Robby Ignagni. Back on the Ken Sparks Show, Carson-Newman beats Mars Hill 43-27. Time now for our Eagles Spotlight. This week, Michael Wottreng shines it on Carson-Newman all-conference offensive guard Robby Ignagni.
There may not be a position that defines a football player better than an offensive lineman. Junior right guard Robby Ignagni embodies every aspect of a true gridiron player, according to offensive coordinator and offensive line coach Mike Turner.
Well, I think he has a great desire to achieve. Robby's one of those guys where the game means a lot to him. You know, it means a lot to just to be able to play football, and he enjoys it from that pure part of the game, and I really like that. That gives him that excitement and enthusiasm, and what a great, deep, burning desire to succeed.
Ignagni was recruited to play defensive line, but a conversation with head coach Ken Sparks prompted the move to right guard in the summer of 2012.
Playing guard here is pretty. You got to be versatile and you got to be quick and really learn how to use your strength when you need it.
The change helped the Gallatin, Tennessee native on and off the field. He quickly formed a strong bond with preseason All-American Alex Taylor, who considers Ignagni his best friend. Taylor was initially a guard and helped the junior transition to a new position.
Now, so what I help him with this year more is just if he occasionally has a question, he'll come back to me and ask how I would have handled it. But last year is the year that I helped him with anything from split to blocking assignment to just staying under control. But he's really come along and he really helps us out.
Turner realizes that Ignagni is still learning the position, but the 6'3", 320-pounder has a desire that is unmatched.
He's really had 1 year as an offensive lineman. He's got a base to him. He's got leverage. He's got strength and all those things that he continues to get better at. But, you know, you're hoping every kid every day has got an attitude, I'm getting better every day. You know, I'm getting better from week to week to week. And Robby wants to achieve. You know, he wants to do well. He wants the team to do well. He's awful hard on himself sometimes when he hasn't had a good game or a good day. But that comes back from wanting to do well.
Like most athletes, Ignagni spends a lot of time perfecting his craft. It is part of a day-to-day grind that he enjoys more than anything.
Every day I have a list of things I see in film, and I just work on one thing, and I make one day, every day, count towards that thing I think I need to work on. So one day it may be my hands, so one day I'll work on just shooting my hands or opening my hands up, or one day it'll be, you know, staying low. So just one day at a time type progress for me.
Turner has seen a great deal of maturation from the 2013 preseason first-team All-SAC selection.
Robby's come a long, long way as a football player and a long way as a young man growing up. He has willed himself to do that. He's overcome some injuries this year already that probably most people would have took him out of the game. And Robby goes back to that desire that he wants to play. He's not going to let anything stop him from playing. But I think he understands he's found a way to be successful in the offensive line. And he also knows how important that position is to our football team.
Ignagni said as long as his body will let him, he is going to continue to push himself to be the best player that he can be. You may never find his name on the stat sheet, but Turner believes that his position and the other 4 offensive linemen are key for this team's success. For the Ken Sparks Show, I'm Michael Wottreng.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. And Ken, Robby Ignagni, a kid who's making some changes, and probably one of my favorite players just because of how interesting the kid is.
He really is. He's Robby is has changed as much as anybody since he's been here, as we've had probably, especially physically. When he came in, he was we couldn't get through exercises with him, you know, stretch and warm up before he was tired. And he's been an unbelievable, you know, he's one of the strongest kids we got now. He's one of the best conditioned kids we got. He works at it, and he's super intelligent. And so what a great treat to watch that one develop.
Turn your attention now to the Shorter Hawks, and a team that we were talking about it before we went to air. Surprising that they're 0-5, but a triple option team. What challenges does Shorter pose?
Well, the same ones that Brevard and Lenore Ryan do, because it's a whole different offense. It's a whole different set of problems for us, and got a lot of talent. Got a quarterback that can go, and of course they're in a very special place to recruit. You know, when you in Georgia, you can recruit, and surprising. Coach Jones does a great job. He's a quality guy. He's a coach I've admired for years, and they'll have something special for us. And you know, it'd be good to go to Rome. We used to play in Rome all the time, Nick Hyder Classic, and we used to have some great time. We got some great friends in Rome, and so we'll have to go down there and play. You look at their opposition. You look who they played. You know, they played the #1 team. They played another top 10 team. They've played a very, very tough schedule, so you can't go by their record. They'll give us a fit.
Ken, pleasure as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you very much.
It's Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier. This has been the Ken Sparks Show. Join us next week.